according to some people out there is a massive wave of hate coming over Sparking Zero, and I am aware of it. I have seen a lot of hate for this game. I don't think any of it is warranted, but I have been directly linked to this person's video in another person's video. I'm only going to check out one of the videos today. If you want me to see some more of the hate videos that's out there and kind of, I guess, do a reaction in or talk over them, let me know. Link it down below or something if there's any other stuff you want me to cover. I just want to go over this and see what they're saying, because all of the bullshit that I've been seeing, you know, apparently we shouldn't get this game. It's a cash grab. It's terrible. Xenoverse is better. Raging Blast is better. This isn't Budokai Tenkaichi. Like, bro, literally, it's okay to be blind, and it's okay to be deaf, and it's okay to have a different opinion. But you have to be okay with knowing that you're just wrong. So I just want to jump into this. If you enjoy the vibes, make sure you slide, subscribe. I really appreciate it, as it thrusts me in the algorithm. It helps me grow. It helps me get out there. I do truly, gratefully appreciate everything that you guys do for me on this channel. And let's go into this. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero is garbage and trash. Not my Budokai Tenkaichi. Never was yours to begin with, if this is what you think of.
Still excited for Dragon Ball Sparkling Water Aquafina Edition.
Sparkling water.
To be honest with you, this game looks like absolute dog water. The graphics came straight out of Kakarot, man.
It's okay to be blind. It's not dog water. I mean, you can have the opinion that it's dog water, but if you're gonna talk objectively, literally looking at the graphics, you cannot sit there, stand there, lay down there, and tell me that the graphics is trash. It's not trash. Objectively speaking, a factual statement, this art style, you might not be a fan artistically, but the graphical fidelity of this game is so much far superior than Kakarot and Fighters, much less Xenoverse. Like, Xenoverse's art style is actually atrocious. So you know, here we go. Let's just jump more into it.
As far to say that Xenoverse has more impact than the transformations in the Ultimate in the Super.
Just false.
Bro. The combos don't even have weight on them. Like,
what do you mean? There's no combos in Xenoverse that have weight on them. What are you talking about?
No wonder as to why they didn't label it Budokai Tenkaichi 4.
They didn't label it Budokai Tenkaichi 4 because they're just rebranding it as its originating name. You know, Budokai Tenkaichi was Sparking. It was Sparking. It was Sparking. Sparking 1, Sparking 2, Sparking 3, whatever. They had different names. It was Sparking. That was the original JP name, okay? So don't be saying, well, they're calling it Sparking Zero because they don't want to associate it with the Budokai thing. Literally, the marketing behind it is Tenkaichi. So what are you talking about right now? You literally sound stupid as hell.
On Sparking Zero, it's the same thing. I'm telling you, Raging Blast 1 and 2 is far better.
How? How do you have that opinion when you haven't played the demo and you haven't actually played the game? So how do you actually have that opinion? The opinion that you're forming that a game is better than something has to be founded upon some kind of substantial basis. And that has to be based upon your experience. Now, are you saying that because you haven't played the game that you think Raging Blast and Xenoverse have more impact based off of the watchability and entertainment factor? Sure, you can have that opinion, but you can't objectively say that one game is better than the other game without actually playing both of them to serve as your baseline for entertainment factor. Because all you have to go off of is other creators out here that actually got invited to Bandai and Chunsoft to play the game, and the reveals and trailers that has undergone for this video game. So what basis are you putting the fact that in your eyes, the fact that Raging Blast and Sparking Zero don't even match up? Raging Blast is just way better, and that Xenoverse is just leagues better when it comes to impact of combos. How do you know that? You haven't played the game. How do you know that? Now, when the game comes out, and that actually comes to be an actuality, I'll take the video back, my guy. I'll take the video back. And don't be all salty and all trying to strike the video or something. This transformative, nigga, I'm giving my opinion. So you want to scrap? You want to talk about shit? Let's do it, bro. Let's do it. I'll get you in the video right now. I'll call you on Discord, something. Let's talk about it. Why the hell are you saying this with no real basis. Have you gotten invited and played the game and just decided not to showcase it somewhere? You know, I haven't gone through your video, so I haven't gone through your channel either, so I don't know if this is just satire. It could be satire, but I'm gonna treat it as if it's not satire. So I'm gonna take everything that you're saying at face value as an actual something that you believe in.
Inferior product, and look at this. It was difficult to implement local split screen multiplayer.
There's a reason for that.
Retaining those core elements.
There's a reason for that.
Talking about you was retaining these core elements on the PlayStation 2.
And the PS2 is a far less intensive system than any system out ever in the last 10 to 15 years. When did the PlayStation 2 come out? It wasn't 15 years ago. It was longer than that. The PlayStation 2 and the PlayStation 1 came out a long ass time ago. They're not holding up a candle to anything Sparking Zero is doing. You gotta understand that if they were to do what they were doing in the PS2 era and even PS3 era of games, right? They're rendering the game twice. What that means is all of the stuff that you're seeing right now has to be toned down to such a level that it's just not where they would like their expectations and their goals to be met quality-wise for Sparking Zero. Is it something they could do? Could they make custom maps that have less things in them? Less vegetation, less breakable buildings and mountains and stuff? Yeah, they could do that, and it might come in the future, but that's not their focus. They've already announced that their focus point was single player because they wanted to give you the best experience that you could possibly have playing a Dragon Ball game and experiencing those like crazy, amazing, beautiful, destructive battles that we all see and experience and feel in the show. And we wanted to have that weight of actually experiencing that. However, Dragon Ball games are notorious for ushering in and having a very strong local, competitive, and casual scene. So they did what they thought was the best option possible, and they gave us the hyperbolic time chamber that has 1 or 2, maybe 3 or 4 things that's destructible in it, to the point that it wouldn't actually be a problem on the current genre of like hardware. Is it possible that they could do something in the future where it's PC only? If you have a 4090, you could actually render both of these games and something like that. Sure, or maybe PS5 Pro comes out and it's like, hey, this is a mode only for this system. Sure. Or again, they could theoretically recreate some of these maps that we already have in the game, but have it be less dense. However, because that wasn't the main focus, they are probably just working on it. And for them to meet the deadline of October 11th around the world, a little bit earlier for people that pre-ordered the game and get 3 days early access, they're probably not going to be rushing that out. So this isn't a rushed game. You know, they've taken what, 4 or 5 years to develop the game alone. And I can see a lot of that because every trailer that we get has been some kind of upgrade rendition of the graphics. Like, you know, Vegeta from back then don't look the same as right now from the very first trailer to what we are seeing in the games nowadays. So the entire notion that the multiplayer should work how it did in PS2, PS3, PS4 era doesn't hold weight, considering that this game is trying to push current generation hardware. And this is being made to optimize the best performance possible for the PlayStation 5 and current PCs, which is why, again, I said that they do have the option of potentially recreating these maps to be better optimized for this game mode, or just making it only an available thing for people that play on PC and hook it up to a TV for local play, because they might have a 4090 or something that comes out that's way far superior than anything we have on console. However, when they create video games for console, it is generally better optimized because it's only niched down and focused on pulling the most that they possibly can from that hardware and everything that is working in there, versus having to meet different expectations and demands for various PC builds, which is why sometimes games just run better and is ported over to PC and don't run very well and even look as good. So again, I know that was kind of a long tangent, hating on them and saying the game is trash because it doesn't have the same local screenplay as 3 generations ago, it's fucking stupid.
PS3, and now all of a sudden you can't retain these elements because, you know, we want to push for an online Dragon Ball game. Even in Xenoverse 2, which happens to be a MMORPG with fighting game elements, has some form of
It is a fighting game first before MMORPG. It's just what it is. Literally, the basis of the entire game is not MMORPG first. It's just not. The basis of the game is fighting first, and it's a very open world, semi-open world kind of aesthetic to it. But when you jump into the game, you know, it's teaching you how to play, because to progress anything in the game is a fight. Whereas a normal MMORPG, it might be, hey, I'm raiding up with my teammates, I'm running around area, very open world. You know, typically you think of an MMORPG, and it's, again, typically very, very large. Sorry for that loud noise. That was me closing my glasses case. I was wiping my glasses. Very large open areas, which is just not something that you have inside of Xenoverse. I'm sorry for the starting. You don't have that in Xenoverse. Xenoverse is such a semi version of an MMORPG. Its only really huge classification of that is the fact that you can group up with multiple people online. But the basis of the game is a 3D arena fighter. That is the basis of Xenoverse.
What is the excuse for this? And all these Dragon Ball content creators are out here capping for this game. Even the characters is misleading.
I mean, I've already explained.
Look at this, bro.
How are the characters misleading?
Because you can play a Dragon Ball game with different hairstyles. Is that what it is?
Oh my gosh. All because you can play a Dragon Ball game with different hairstyles. Guess what? That's literally every Dragon Ball game in existence since hitting any point of 3D 2.5D fighter. Literally. Because the main selling point of every single Dragon Ball game is you get to play as these favorite characters. And as soon as Z came out, and then you had things like Kaioken and Super Saiyan involved, everybody's big selling point that ever took on the marketing challenge of a Dragon Ball game or anything Dragon Ball related, again, since transformations has ever been a thing, yeah, it's been a huge selling point. So of course they're gonna market towards playing with characters with different fucking hairstyles. Yeah, it's called Dragon Ball Z and Super. I'm a huge fan of OG Dragon Ball. But guess what? Literally, and you can do a poll on this, 98% probably of all people that love Dragon Ball have not actually seen Dragon Ball or read Dragon Ball, or even know that in the actual original iteration of it, it never transforms into Z or Super or anything. Well, actually Super, yes, or GT or anything like that. It's literally just one manga that's called Dragon Ball, but it was rebranded in America, and it was so popular because they wanted to let you know, hey, there was a passing of time that happened after this long break, and that's why we call it Z, and it's supposed to be focused on the Z Warriors, the Z Fighters, and, you know, have this whole different aesthetic to the whole show and the manga. Like, but in the manga it was just Dragon Ball, much similar to how Naruto doesn't have Naruto Shippuden in their mangas. And I know because I have the Naruto manga behind me right now. I'm just saying, this has been something that's in every single game, even the games you're mentioning, Raging Blast, Xenoverse. Look at the first trailers that came out. You can create a character and you can, transform. So you're just playing a created character with different hairstyles. Your moveset doesn't change. It's customizable moveset. Nah, not necessarily. It's a customizable move list, not a move set. Ability list and moveset completely different. So every Dragon Ball game, at least in the last 25 to 30 years, has been, hey, let's push this narrative of transformations.
You know, you want to play with Goku with pink hair, blue hair, red hair.
Xenoverse.
The impact, man.
Xenoverse.
This game is a reflection of
every
how
Dragon Ball game.
Dragon Ball Super is, bro. Because Dragon Ball Super literally has these same complaints.
So does every iteration of anything Dragon Ball related. The only thing that ever actually did something unique with any of the characters was GT. It was GT. Dragon Ball GT, as much as hate as it gets on it, actually brought us something new and looks completely different. You have a literal bodily transformation, not just hairstyle. You know, with Super Saiyan 4 and the Great Ape for Baby, and even Baby Super Saiyan had white hair. We never seen that. So the only iteration of anything for Dragon Ball that has brought us something more than just a different hairstyle or different hair color has been GT.
Look at this.
Yo, I'm looking at it. It looks beautiful. Not really on your screen because your shit's trash.
Implement the split screen and look, hyperbolic, hyper time change.
Yeah, I already went into this.
In one part of the game, this is what you people are doing.
Yep.
And for the people saying that this game's not like Xenoverse, look what it says right there. Finish sign while said that.
Hey, guess what? Before you say something, and you're gonna be like, oh, well, they got these moves from Xenoverse. Guess what? Xenoverse got their fucking moves from Tenkaichi. Dipshit, did you play the other games? Xenoverse got all of its moves. All of them from Tenkaichi. Except the characters that wasn't in Tenkaichi. What are you saying right now? To say that this is like Xenoverse in any way, and then claim that basis upon the UI and how it shows certain moves, is disingenuous to where Xenoverse's originating inspiration comes from. Almost every 3D arena fighter comes from the originator, which was the Tenkaichi series. So, what were you bullshitting again?
It looks like Xenoverse prompts. So as much as you people want to cap and say, what Dragon Ball game does this? Xenoverse, right? I told you, this game is like Xenoverse, man.
Only UI. Only the UI.
Same impact and weight and the combos and the supers and ultimate attacks. Budokai Tenkaichi was all about, you know, doing these crazy moves and seeing the whole planet blow up right in front of your face.
Tenkaichi was not about doing crazy moves and having the planet blow up inside of your face. That was a part of it. The point of the Tenkaichi series was to battle it out like no other Dragon Ball game has ever done, to experience what you can see and feel by watching the show and reading the manga. That was the entire point of the Budokai Tenkaichi series. You can blow the planet up in a lot of Dragon Ball games and a lot of games in general. The point of Tenkaichi is to not just visually see what you're seeing on screen when you're watching and reading, but to feel the impact because of the visuals, because of the sound design, and those extra features that you listed out are added bonuses. They're extra features. They're something that comes from the show. But to get there, you have to start at its basis. What is that? Visual fidelity, gameplay. How can we make the gameplay as similar to what you are experiencing when watching the show? It's very 3D arena fighter-ish. It's very right in your face. Anything can kind of happen. It's not extremely balanced. Tenkaichi is the most accurate Dragon Ball game and Dragon Ball experience that you'll ever play. There's not a single franchise for Dragon Ball that gives you the experience as close as you can to the show and manga expectations in a video game format. So if Sparking Zero is the literal successor, not just spiritual successor like Raging Blast was, if Sparking Zero is the literal successor of the Tenkaichi series, then they're going along the right path right now.
But you're trying to tell me, man, that Dragon Ball Sparkling Water, this is what you doing? You're trying to tell me that we could only play split screen and
this man must be just
hyperbolic time chamber? What about
doing the shit for clicks or something?
We wanted to retain some of the core elements, really?
He gotta be doing this shit for some clicks.
These core elements since the PlayStation 2.
No, they haven't.
Now that we got next generation,
literally they have not.
People can't do it. Oh, you know, games, it's more text, and you know, split screen is like the game running it twice, which is true.
Raging Blast and Xenoverse are both clunky games. As much as I love both of them for their own advantages, they both have extremely huge disadvantages or things to really dislike about the game. Xenoverse, for one, if we're going to talk about Xenoverse as a whole, it's an online always game, right? And when you're not playing online all the time, fine, you know, let's look at that, but let's look at what the game is meant to be played as, because you talking about the core element of the game constantly being in all these games, it's not. The core element of Xenoverse is to be played online at all times. The netcode for Xenoverse sucks ass. If anything ever happens, it can be completely exploited at any point in time because of netcode things or because of just broken ass characters, right? Which is why we constantly have these balance patches and updates that come out for Xenoverse continuously for the last how many years now? Exactly. So the core elements of Xenoverse do not play even remotely closely to what Tenkaichi plays like. There's not even close to the amount of destruction that you see in a show that's related or relayed in Xenoverse at all. Xenoverse 1 or 2. So that's out of the question when it comes to experiencing what you're seeing on screen. Let's go to another point. Transformations work like trash. I mean, they're good, they're fine, work like trash. Always draining something, always affecting you in some kind of way. We get it, we understand. It's gimmicky though, don't like it. Okay, well, let's look at pure combat. The combat is janky and low-key a little floaty. I mean, what do you want me to say, bro? I can pull up a side-by-side comparison of Xenoverse combat versus Tenkaichi combat. Tenkaichi combat, and I don't mean Sparking Zero combat, Tenkaichi combat is still far superior than anything that Xenoverse can pull out of its ass. Tenkaichi combat is still far superior than Raging Blast. That gap is a little bit closer, however, because Raging Blast was a spiritual successor to Tenkaichi, which means they were trying to be alike, they were trying to be akin, they were literally a figmentation and had inspiration from Tenkaichi. So now that we have a game again that is the literal continuation of the Tenkaichi franchise, it is going to be playing way similar to Tenkaichi than it is Xenoverse. It's going to be playing way better, much more polished because of the day and age that it's coming out in. Visually, way more stunning. Graphically, way more stunning, right? Gameplay wise, much more tight down. I heard that it's playing a little bit slower, which is fine. It still looks really fast. I have some complaints about the movement myself. For example, always taking a lot of your ki/stamina meter, right? Just to make these quick dashes. I have a complaint about that. Sure. I'm not saying this is the end all be all, but it's definitely going to be the best Dragon Ball game that we've gotten in a very fucking long time. Xenoverse was good and it served its purpose. But at the core, it is not as much of a fighting game as Tenkaichi is. The core of Xenoverse is a fighting game, but the experience of it is not the same experience that Tenkaichi is going for.
That's why you don't see it in a lot of open world games, but this is a fighting game. Fighting games are the most low demanding games to be able to achieve this.
That is just inaccurate. It's just not correct. That's just very false. A lot of fighting games tend to have like ridiculous visuals in it as opposed to an open world game, and that's why a lot of fighting games tend to have really high download files as well. Now, the only way that an open world game is going to have a higher download file than a fighting game is based on how big the actual world is in that open world and how much content is inside of it. Whereas a fighting game is much more niche down and focused on the graphical fidelity of the game, how smooth it runs at all times, working on the frame delay, frame inputs, but most of those are not 3D fighters. 3D fighters operate fundamentally differently than a 2D fighter because they're on the same platform and they're controlling just like their same characters, but it just runs completely differently. You know, they have different things to take into account that aren't moving. They have a set stage that have very limited number of breakable items on it, where the only thing that they need to focus on is the button inputs, the delays, and things of that nature. Pull up a screen of Street Fighter combat versus Sparking Zero. Street Fighter combat does not match up Sparking Zero because in Street Fighter there might be tons of particle effects and it looks great, and there may be an amazing amount of detail and quality behind the player as they're playing the game. However, None of those things in the background are operating at the same scale that anything is right here. All this stuff is real time. All the stuff that's inside of fighting games are either preloaded, and it could be real time, and if it is, again, it's a set animation, a set piece that, depending on the fighting game you're playing, you may be able to switch stages mid-fight by knocking them to one side of the map like Tekken, or something along the lines of like Soul Calibur, breaking them through the floor, knocking them all the way up into a different stage. So fighting games, true 1-to-1 2D 2.5D style fighting games run completely differently than a 3D arena fighter. Okay, glad that we got that out the way.
That Dragon Ball Sparking Zero is having this issue.
Yes.
Wow. Look at this. Rage and Blast 2 is way better.
No, it's not. And you also have no basis to give that off of.
Developed as a single player game. No wonder this game
yes.
crashed. If this game has online multiplayer, then the game should have split screen multiplayer.
I agree.
It doesn't matter. Unless the game is like Fortnite where you need 100 players.
I agree. And it has already announced. So what are we talking about right now? I'm going to skip past this if this is all you're going to complain about right now. Literally, I agree that they should have not focused heavily. I mean, yes, they shouldn't focus primarily, is what I meant to say, solely on the single player aspect. But they heard the community and was like, no, you gotta understand, you're about to miss really badly. Sparking's supposed to be Tenkaichi 4. Do not miss with this. Do not mess this up.
That's understandable. PUBG, we get as to why those games don't have split screen, but still, you could still have split screen and then play the game online with people, so that's still not a...
Look at what happens when you actually do have those games with split screen. Everything is toned down for a reason. Look at the newest Call of Duty game. Play it split screen. Tell me how it plays. Completely differently. It runs way slower. Literally, your graphical fidelity lowers no matter what thing that you're doing. So they clearly said that there is something here that they're trying to work really hard at people experiencing that they could not experience in the previous Tenkaichi games, but we're getting in Sparking Zero. They have a certain clear goal. That's what we're trying to reach here.
But when you're talking about a game where it's just one person...
Okay, I'm skipping past this. Yep. Oh, yep. All right, well, let's get to the next point, my guy.
Look, they ripping you off.
Okay. We're getting to the next point.
Look, they ripping you off. What did I tell you? What did I tell you?
Ripping us off how?
Rage and Blast 2 did it better. Rage and Blast 2, you choose one character,
yeah,
and then you have each one of those characters.
First off, we don't know if this is the final select screen. If this is the final select screen, I agree with you 100%. Have nothing to say.
Under that preset. What is this? They even put Goku with a halo on his head as a different character.
Because it's probably a completely different Goku. I'm gonna nitpick. Since you're nitpicking, I'm gonna nitpick. It's likely an entirely different version of Goku. Probably going to be end version of Goku that can only go up to Super Saiyan 3, something along those lines. If I was to give a rough guesstimation on that, right? Something in the Buu Saga. If not the very start of... No. I was gonna say the very start of Super, but Goku didn't have a halo at any point in Super, I don't think. So
I'm done. Look, you think I'm lying? Look. So much for that season pass, huh?
I don't get that. What do you mean season pass?
That's nothing but a custom item. You're gonna...
Okay, don't refer to it as a custom item because it's not something you just throw on your character. It's an entirely different character. Is it going to possibly be a custom item? Yes, it's a possibility. This isn't Xenoverse. I do understand that there are previous video games out there that allow you to customize the characters in a very limited way. So like you could have this god version of Vegeta and still put a halo on him. But these are completely base characters that are already in game. So it's just a different version of them.
Add that as a character?
But I agree, this select screen is trash.
You know what, man? Y'all gonna defend it. Please make sure you like, share this video around, man.
Hey man, if you enjoying the vibes, make sure you like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. It supposed to be an algorithm, not for him though.
Please, we gotta get the message on this.
Unless it's satire, bro. I mean, like, shit. You know what? I'm not gonna say not to like and subscribe to his video or his channel, because he's entitled to his own opinion, but I am critiquing his opinion, and he's very obliged to critique the opinion of his opinion. He can do that. That's fine. I just think you're wrong.
Right there. You know, we got base form Goku with the halo, Super Saiyan Goku with the halo. Really? All that was a custom item in Rage and Blast 2 that you could have put on any character. Why would you have a...
Again, Raging Blast 2 did not have nearly the amount of characters that Sparking Zero is going to have, nor did they even have a fraction of the characters that was inside of Tenkaichi 3.
Separate character for that. Look at this. Super Saiyan 3 Goku with Halo. Wow. I'm not. Why didn't they do it like Rage and Blast and Budokai Tenkaichi when you choose a character, right?
Look, I agree. I just feel like this is a pre-build version that we're seeing.
Like they'll have Vegeta Scout or something.
I have that hope. Now, if it's not, and this is actually how it plays in game because they want you to transition into the actual fight, I'm gonna be really pissed.
The transformation, like it was. So for example,
because this is very lifeless, very soulless. Has to be some kind of finesse to it.
Goku, Super Saiyan 2, and Super
some
Saiyan
kind of
3.
drip.
So I guess you could say there's 4 characters under one slot. Why did you guys go as far to do this? By trying to make base form Goku Halo, base form regular. Like, this is stupid. Wow. Bruh. Look how many characters are the same.
Well, these are different versions of the characters. Again, Buu Saga, early Saga.
We got base form Vegeta. We got base form Halo Vegeta.
Again, these are showcasing different versions of the characters. Early Vegeta Great Ape, which makes sense. You know, they probably have their different slots unless, you know, I'm sure you can transform into it. Why wouldn't you be able to? You have always been able to. And then it's showing Frieza Saga, maybe? No, actually, it skips Frieza Saga, it looks like. Frieza Saga stuff might just be an extra outfit for early Vegeta. In this case, I'm seeing Cell Games, right? And then it goes into Buu Saga. So, yeah, makes sense. At the end of Buu Saga anyways, because Vegeta didn't have King Halo in the beginning of it.
Vegeta, bro, that is nothing but a custom item.
All right, well,
on your character. How dare you even?
Let's see what more he has to say.
Characters should have their own character, like Majin Vegeta. You know, Saiyan Saga, Vegeta Scout.
Makes sense, but you know, if you're gonna nitpick everything, why not nitpick and say that Majin Vegeta had a transformation in the Tenkaichi in the Budokai games? So why couldn't he just transform into Majin Vegeta?
Characters like that, but you're trying to tell me that you got Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta and then you got Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta with a Halo. Are you kidding me? That is not a new character.
It's Super Saiyan Vegeta with a Halo, Super Saiyan 2 with a Halo.
Bro. What?
Super Vegeta, again, different versions of Vegeta. Different movesets entirely.
Why isn't that under one character?
We've been over this. I'm just gonna skip around unless he has more to say.
Wow. Hold on. That form and then those 2 forms that you would... Wow. And that's the end of the characters? Bro, it is not even...
Demo, it's a demo, because you're about to complain about it not being enough characters. It's a fucking demo. Don't be stupid. You're literally being disingenuous. Sounds like you're just doing this just for some views. No, I'm not even gonna entertain it, bro.
Yeah, bro, I'm calling this like it is, man. Hopefully this opened the eyes to a lot of you fake wannabe.
Okay, so what I have, hold on, let me hear else what he has to say though. Okay, so it sounds like he's talking about like battle pass stuff and you know, getting season pass things, and they're just gonna sell us stuff like, oh, it's just gonna be base form this, base form that, and they're gonna say there's 10, 15, 20 characters inside of this, but it's really 4 characters that is really just like one character. Like they might give us Beast Gohan inside of a DLC pack, and it's really just Super Gohan, but it's Super Gohan as one character in base form, Super Saiyan 1, 2, and then Ultimate Super Gohan, and then you have the ability to transform into Beast Gohan. So that might count as like 4, 5 different characters. So he's saying that, and that's a genuine concern. I understand that, but he is being very disingenuous, saying this is going to be all the characters in the base roster of the game. Obviously, it's not. This has clearly been stated that it's going to have 100 and something, almost 200 characters base game before they start adding in DLC and all that type of shit. So disingenuous, video's absolutely ridiculous. I think I covered the basis of pretty much everything that he had to say in this. Again, if you enjoyed the vibes, make sure you slide and subscribe. I really appreciate you. Let me know some other things that people are complaining about and hating on, and I will address it and get to it. I don't have anything else to say. You let me know what you think about his video. Do you agree with him? Do you disagree? I think it's absolutely preposterous. Stay safe out there. I'll catch you in the next one.